Hi friends, here we are given g of f of x equal to absolute value of sin x and f of g of x equal to sine root x whole square. Then which of these following are valid? Okay, so let us try to substitute in all the three cases and then see whether these two cases are being satisfied or not. Let us take the first case where f of x equal to sine square x and g of x equal to root x. What will be f of g of x? This one. F of g of x will be f of g of x is root x, f of root x, which is nothing but sine square root x, which is nothing but sine root x whole square, right? Sine square root x or sine root x whole square, which is same. So f of g of x is satisfied. So this one is correct. Second one, g of f of x, g of f of x. Right, what is f of x? Sine square x. G of sine square x. G of sine square x. What does that mean? Root of sine square x. Root of sine square x is always a positive number. Root of something is always positive. That's right. Absolute value of sin x. So this is also getting satisfied. So f of this case is definitely true. F of x equal to sine square x and g of x equal to root x. This is true. Let us look at the second case where f of x equal to sin x and g of x equal to absolute value of x. Okay. Now f of g of x in this case. F of g of x we should get sine root x whole square. What we are getting? G of x is absolute value of x. F of absolute value of x. That means f of sine of absolute value of x. F of x is sine x. In the place of x, we have to put absolute value of x. Sine of absolute value of x. Right. Here, but what we want, f of g of x is sine root x whole square. Here it is not matching. See, sine of absolute value of x. This can be negative. Right. But this is always positive because this is a perfect square. Sine root x is always positive. Okay, sine root x whole square is always positive because sine root x can be negative, positive, doesn't matter. But because this is a perfect square, this is always positive. And the sine of absolute value of x, this can be negative, right? So, for example, sine 3 pi by 2, this is negative. Or sine whatever is in third quadrant or fourth quadrant, sine 300 degrees or sine 210 degrees, whatever. X is positive, but sine of absolute value of x is negative, right? It is not absolute value of sine x. Right, this is positive. But sine of absolute value of x is can be negative, right? So that's why this thing is not equal to this thing. Okay. Now let's take the final case f of x equal to x square, g of x equal to sine root x. Now g of f of x, let us see. Okay, g of f of x is x square, g of x square, that means sine of root of x square, that means sine of absolute value of x. This can be negative. Like in the previous case we discussed, this can be negative. But what is the thing that we want? G of f of x should be absolute value of sin x. This is always positive, whatever you do. Absolute value of sin x. Sin x can be negative, but absolute value is always positive. So these two cannot be equal. So basically, the third one is also not true, second one also not true. We have got only the first one as the correct answer. So only the first one as the correct answer. Right, yes, very simple problem. Just that we need to be little careful in calculating absolute values. Plain substitution, just that we have to be careful. Right, guys. Thank you.